So I've arrived at a special designation secret place. I don't know how secret it'll be if I show you the building, but I've already seen a total of 3 deer in a half-hour drive from the hotel. So this place is promising. Now, whether or not I'm going to stay and buy a New Jersey license, season ends on Monday, I think. It is President's Day, and I am pretty close to our corporate headquarters. I may just buy a license and come back here. We'll see how it goes. But we're on a scouting mission, and I'll be joined by Justin Joseph. Justin was the Map Reading Challenge winner in Ohio in 2018. He was one of the few contestants that actually shot a deer. And he'll be leaving on the 28th of this month, flying back to his native India. He was gracious enough to offer to meet me down here for a personal scouting trip. So I'm excited about it. Looking forward to it, all right? And kind of hoping he can shed some light on some great deer cover. Oh, Justin, before you leave for India, you were nice enough to come down here and meet me and show me this honey hole.
Yep.
Andrew was talking about it. He says, you killed so many deer in here. But we're here, and we actually parked across the street. I'm not going to show you exactly the building, but there we parked right there. How big is this one area in here? Just a few acres?
And much more than that. It goes back a long way. But this is kind of a corridor where there's bedding areas deep inside, and then they kind of move out because there's food sources here. This is, this
there's a farm over there, so there's agriculture for them?
Yeah, agriculture.
And you can see the tracks right here too, right?
Yep. So
and what's your preferred time of the year for hunting this?
This is late December.
Late December?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yep.
It's a little hard sometimes keeping the camera steady without the tripod or gimbal, but we're going to try.
So this is how they move, Kiran. They kind of keep to the side. This is usually, if there's no snow, there's a lot of green here. And this is their, morning and evening.
Is that
food
agriculture
source.
or just a farm next door?
This is actually a
horse country, right?
Yeah, this is some kind
That's
of a
kind of what I
horse
thought.
You see this, right? This is regular.
How far in do you typically go and hang your stand?
Yeah, I'll show you.
It looks pretty thick in here too. And being state land, you're not allowed to thin it, right?
You're not allowed to?
Right? No?
What is that?
They don't allow you to cut trees usually.
No, you can't. So this is you see that corridor? You see that corridor?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh? So these things are pretty nasty.
No, don't worry.
To the best of my knowledge, this is an invasive thing. Invasive.
That's why I didn't bring my other jacket. These things tear them apart.
Yeah, they do.
And they love these brambles. The thicker the better. You can see we're walking through the woods here, right on a heavily run trail.
You see what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To come here, set up, in any of those trees. That's where I used to set up.
You put a hanging stand there?
One second.
A lot of the guys are using saddles now, but you had a hanging stand?
A climber.
That's a tough one to climb on, right?
Not that, I'll show you. And I also had sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the tree.
Yeah.
That's not the tree, this is the tree.
You could actually see the headquarters from here, hunting that close to the parking area.
I mean, this is more than legal.
Wow, it's amazing.
I mean, even if you consider 150 yards, right? This is more than 150 yards. So,
because it's bow and arrow archery, it's okay.
Yeah.
Wonder how far in this goes.
So this is the gateway.
Well, there are a lot of nice trees right here, a lot of good trees for climbers. You know, I tend to walk too fast. I tend to walk like I'm still in Manhattan. But,
So you see that, right?
this is amazing. It's amazing, it's so close.
Yes.
Heavily traveled, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have hiked in miles here,
Yeah.
but you don't, the point is you don't have to do that.
What do you think of this right here, all these trees?
All of that is good, but the thing is, right, there are multiple such trails coming out. So they all kind of converge there. So you increase your odds if you're right there.
Okay, yeah.
That is kind of an entrance. So once they enter,
So
right,
actually, you're recommending being closer to the...
I'm recommending the converging point there. The
Okay.
thing is, once they get in, right, they have few options of.
They have more options this way, you mean? Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously a regular path, but there are 2 or 3 of them. They all converge there. So it's just that you increase your odds there.
I was hoping we might jump one, actually. So I just walked down a little further, and this appears to be a stream or a creek or something. There are droppings and there are tracks everywhere. Looks like it'd be pretty hard to get lost in here for sure. Walk in one way, walk out the other. You can see the agriculture on that side. You can see the barn. You almost don't have to pay attention to just come in, hang your stand, hunt. It's pretty fascinating. Got plenty of cover in here. Looks like they may even bed in here a little bit. Seeing a lot of tracks today. A couple droppings. I don't see a lot of buck rubs, but there may be one over there. But yeah, this is fascinating stuff. There we go. All right, so we're walking through here again with Justin a little bit further. Walked across the creek and I spotted this tree stand. You're allowed to leave them in New Jersey. You're allowed to leave it for up to 2 weeks after the season ends. And the season ends, there's tracks running right underneath this guy's tree stand. So tracks go right up to this guy's stand. There it is right there. Cool. But literally the tracks go right past the guy's stand. That would be like a 10-yard shot. I think that's a I'm pretty sure that's a camera down there. Yep. The guy put a wireless camera on state land. I'm having trouble finding you, Justin. Walk down here a minute. I want to show you something. So, I wanted to show him this wireless cell cam on state land. I mean, the guy's pretty brazen. The way people steal cameras these days. Justin, I just found a trail camera, wireless, on public land. This guy's brazen. I mean, you did $500. I'm surprised no one has swiped it yet, you know.
Where is it?
All right, so Justin, hold on a second, Justin. I zoomed in, zoom out. So Justin is telling me a story about reading sign, and I'm taking picture and marking, just so you could see. I'm marking, well, there was a rub right there, right? So I'm marking this rub.
Okay.
Justin asked me if I've seen the movie Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
What happened exactly at the bar with
So
4 women?
So the whole idea is if they want to dance at the bar, right, they basically have to ignore the most beautiful woman there. So that's the only way. So I was telling you that you will have to similarly ignore some of these
So
things.
ignore the blonde. and
Not.
look at other signs. Right?
Look at, you know, be practical and just hunt where the deer is, right? Like funnel points.
You
and
know,
all
my
that.
hunting buddy says the same thing. It's you got to be where the deer are.
Yeah.
But he gets in late, he goes home early.
Yeah.
I think deer, based on what I saw this morning, that's why Andrew does so well. Very early, these guys get in the woods an hour or two before daylight.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's a little harder now. You trip and fall, and you can't see as well.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for me to be going in the woods in the dark. And coming out, same thing. So, all right. So you don't think I should bother marking this guy's tree stand?
You can mark it, but you know, this is an open area where, you know, it will be active during the rut, but
Yeah.
you know, after that, I think you have to stick to your food sources and you know, funnel points.
And you think really this is a rut area? This open area is more of a buck rutting during the rut hunt.
So you know, all the woods becomes rut area, right? They just are cruising and doing all kind of crazy. They're basically moving around, right? Other times they're sticking to their habits, like they want to reduce their energy, right? So all they do is bed food. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
And at that time there's more predictability, right? So you can predict, like if there is an active trail to the food source. That's how I think about it.
And you said you weren't sure whether there was a lot of acorns in there. There's a lot of big trees. It looked like there might be some big oaks in here.
There could be, but I would think here they primarily go to the grass.
I'm comfortable with that spot close to the road. You know, easy to drag the deer out. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've been following this track a little bit. We're seeing fresh deer urine. We haven't actually jumped a deer yet, surprisingly. Justin prefers evening hunts to morning hunts, so he leaves 2 or 3 hours before dusk. And he said he took 9 deer last year, so this theory seems to be working. I think that thick area in there is a bedding area, just on the other side of the stream. And we could see where deer came in to drink. With all this snow, they came in and used the water and then continued back out again. But this looks like exceptional cover. Trying to avoid these prickly bushes. They'll carry up. And apparently in New Jersey you're allowed to use the gutless method, carry the meat out and leave the carcass, which would be another benefit. Surprisingly, we have not jumped a deer yet. And we did find one bed. Interesting. I still think that real thick area would be ideal for bucks hiding. I think one of the nemesis I have is wind. Wind has busted me with deer hunting more times than not. And we're actually pretty close to the road now. You could actually, if you look through the woods there, I'm not going to zoom in, but you could see the telephone lines right about there. Justin, what's your theory on hunting this piece of property?
Yeah, if the wind is into the woods, right, then there's no point, just forget about it and find
So the wind has to be blowing toward the road.
Correct.
From the woods.
Correct.
The wind has to be blowing from the wooded area toward the road.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Otherwise, you're just wasting your time here.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks. Close to the road now. We'll be coming out of the street a bit momentarily. The rule in New Jersey is 60 yards from an establishment like a building, 150 if there's a school.
Yeah, 150 if it's a playground or school, but it's way less than that. I forgot if it's because I didn't hunt this year, right?
So you've actually hunted this close. So we've managed to walk the property. Justin was nice enough to take me through. Believe it or not, right where he's standing, top of the creek, there's all kinds of deer droppings. And we are literally less than 25 yards from the road. We're in the access center. I think his jacket got pretty torn up from the rose bushes. But this is a great spot because you can see the deer do come out of the woods. And his advice was make sure the wind is blowing in your face as you're walking in, or from the woods to the road. If the wind is blowing from the road into the woods, don't hunt this area. Simple enough, right? Justin, thank you. That was a good education. It looks like a real hot spot, real honey hole.
Yep.
And the most, you took like 9 deer one year here?
Yeah, 8 to 9 deer.
Wow. Yeah. You must have been feeding the neighborhood. You only have a small family. You must have been feeding the whole apartment house.
I don't have a lot of venison. I mostly, almost 90% is donated.
What was your favorite cut? Backstrap, tenderloins?
Yeah, tenderloins and backstrap. I mean, everybody kind of prefers that, but if you ask me, I'll say the same thing. But I'm not 100%. I like shanks. Yeah.
I like the neck roast if it's braised slow and low and slow. It's pretty good and a lot of juice. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough.
Yep.
We'll have to try this next year. Second half of December.
Yep.
From the 15th of December to Christmas and just after Christmas.
Yep.